I wanted to make this video because I've seen this idea of balance spread all throughout YouTube. I've seen this content be more promoted lately. So if it's on YouTube, that means it's all over the internet. Firstly, I should probably mention, what am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about this new philosophy of balance, having things in moderation. It's a new idea, mostly in the self-improvement community, and its basic premise is, oh, it's okay to play video games for 1 hour a day, maybe a couple hours a week. It's okay to have fast food sometimes, maybe like a popsicle, maybe it's like some ice cream, or it could include things like TikTok, where no, don't delete TikTok, just use it in moderation. But that's the basic premise of it. Like I just said, moderation. The definition of it will vary from who you ask. Some might say, yeah, you can play video games sometimes. You can have a little bit fast food once a week, but you can't have TikTok. Or some guy might say, you can have TikTok, you can play video games, but you can never eat fast food or ice cream or whatever your food of choices that you like to indulge in that's not the best for you. I did say new philosophy, but it's definitely not new. Moderation, or even this idea of it, has been probably for thousands of years has existed. More than new, I should have said, it's been brought to light more to the general public. The reason is because most don't want to be told you have to delete TikTok, you can't play video games, you can't go to McDonald's or whatever fast food you like. It's far more appealing to tell someone, no, you can still do all of those things. Just do them in moderation, do them sparingly, don't overdo it. And it sounds like the middle path, and it sounds very correct, especially to any newcomer who hasn't picked a side, or maybe they just started self-improvement, maybe they're young. They'll see these other guys saying, quit video games, quit TikTok. They sound like extremists. They don't sound correct in this scenario. But then you listen to these other guys like, no, you can still do all these things. Just do them sparingly. And they sound more real. They sound more down to earth. And that middle ground that they're talking about seems more correct. Here's why I wanted to, even though I have like a very, very small following, I still wanted to make this video to kind of scoop up people who are in the middle. They don't really know what to do yet. Because when most people see this, like I said before, they're going to pick the guys talking about moderation. But that's not a mindset I want you to have. Alright, first, what is balance actually? Well, believe it or not, balance isn't going to McDonald's once in a while. It isn't playing video games 1 hour a day. What it actually is maybe the amount of time you spend training versus time you spend resting. Maybe the amount of time you spend working versus with your family. Balance is present all throughout our lives, and for good reason. But this sort of balance that's being popularized is not good. Why? Well, for a couple of reasons. Firstly, how about we use the fast food example? Well, why do you have to eat fast food to eat something good? I mean, you guys don't know me, but I don't go crazy with my carbs. I eat less than 50 grams a day usually. So that's what balance is for me. It means not eating a lot of sweets. Like, by sweets, I mean like fruit and maybe some organic chocolate. That's what I'll usually have. And of course, I could eat that same amount of carbs. I could do it at a fast food place. I could eat like a couple slices of pizza. Who knows what? But why do I have to do that? Why do I have to do it if there's a healthy alternative? Now, what about video games? Well, a lot of people, depending what you play video games for, but for this example, I'm going to use the social interaction aspect of it. Why not, instead of playing with your friends, like Mario Kart, no one plays Mario Kart anymore, but some sort of multiplayer game, why not meet up in real life? And of course, it's going to be more difficult. But even online, why not play chess instead, or something like that? That's going to be a lot better for both of you, because video games, and I know this is a very heated debate, they aren't good for you. Why is it that they're not good for you? Why is TikTok and all of these things, why even in moderation aren't they good for you? Because of how stimulating they are. They drain the color that the real world has. They make everything else look dull in comparison. If you watch Huberman's video on dopamine, you'll see that. He also talks about how you shouldn't take pre-workout during your workout sessions, at least not frequently, or listen to music because they take away from the workout. Sure, it can be hard to make yourself get up and work out for the first time, especially after you have a bad history of awful habits and you're kind of in the dumps. But by relying on pre-workout or some good sun, you're taking away from the actual workout itself. So then when time comes to shove and you actually need to train, you aren't going to want to do it that much. Not to mention that every single time you train, you're going to need more pre-workout, you're going to need louder music. Whatever it was last time, it's going to need to be more stimulating than before. So why am I mentioning this? Because it's a similar concept to video games. When you play video games for even a couple hours a day, those couple hours every day are going to be so much more stimulating, so much more colorful to your day-to-day life that everything else is just going to look dull in comparison. It's not going to feel as good, and life is going to be harder outside of the time that you're gaming. Or like I've said a million times, watching TikTok or eat McDonald's. I shouldn't even say gaming. Anything that's overly stimulating. It doesn't matter if you play for 10 minutes or 30 minutes a day, which I don't think anybody does, but maybe some people are on TikTok for only 10 minutes a day. Those 10 minutes are still going to drain you of the color that the actual world has, maybe a little bit, right? Obviously, playing games for 10 hours is going to be a lot more draining on your dopamine, and it's going to make life look more dull compared to playing for 1 hour. But still, it's still going to have an effect. It's going to be just less and less. So now you're probably thinking, all right, that means I can still play a little bit and it's going to have just a small effect. Okay, but what if you spent, maybe let's say those people that say they play video games for only 1 hour a week. All right, that's 7 hours a week. What if you spent that time doing something else? 7 hours a week. So the average month has 4 weeks. So that means it's 14. That's 28 hours a month. Most likely closer to 30. So it's 1 hour for every single day in the year. That's 365 hours. Imagine what you could accomplish in that time. 365 hours? Like, imagine that's almost 1,000 hours in 3 years. And that's for people who game on the lighter side. Most people that say they only play video games for 1 hour a day are probably playing more. Pretty much all of them. Maybe 1.5, 2, maybe 3. That's what most of them do. So imagine that. That's for them in 1 year. That's 1,000 hours. Because you've heard of this concept being 1% better every day. Imagine if you used that 1 hour to be just a little bit better every day. If you use that 1 hour to read, to maybe level up your training, maybe to research how to improve your workouts or something similar on those lines. Imagine what you could have accomplished. Now, this is going to bring me to my next point. You're probably wondering by now, how on earth am I supposed to have enough willpower to pretty much grind all day without rest? That's just impossible and it doesn't sound healthy. But what if you got recharged from being productive? What if your work made you feel happy? If that was your hobby, that was your walk outside, that was your gaming session, was you doing the work? Sure, you've seen many people in the industry like Mike Tyson, and they say do something that you hate like you love it. He might have hated every second of it, but if you looked at the really famous bodybuilders, the really successful ones, they really enjoy working out. They love the sessions, they love training, they love it all. Sure, theoretically, it's possible for someone who hates every second of training, for someone who loves every second of training, it's theoretically possible that the guy who hates it will accomplish the same amount as the guy who enjoyed it. But that's theoretical. That's not going to happen in real life because we aren't robots with perfect willpower. If you enjoy being productive, you're in a naturally better position. You're kind of just swimming down the river of life. You're just naturally going down. You don't even have to try it all. Versus hating something, you're swimming up the river. Life is just hard. It's painful. So if you got the message by now, I've drilled it into your head. How do you become one of these guys that enjoys being productive? Well, first, you have to stop looking at it in a way like it's like work. Oh, like I have to get this over with so then I can play video games, so then I can do something else. I have to get this over with. Well, is it really work if you enjoy it? Because that's a big part of it. You have to enjoy what you do and enjoy it because it has to align with your values. You aren't going to be happy being a drop shipper when you don't care at all about these Chinese products. Is your life goal when you were little like, I want the whole world to have these Chinese products. I want to sell them throughout the whole world. No, it wasn't probably that. So you aren't going to obviously enjoy it because you're just doing it for the money. You want to get it over with. But if it's something that aligns with your values, it's going to be a lot easier. Like me making YouTube videos, I actually want to tell people my lessons, the things I've learned. I want to help people out on self-improvement, all that stuff. I like doing that. You can do something like I'm doing if that's what you like. Maybe you want to be a builder or a construction worker. I don't know what your dreams are. Probably not being a construction worker. And lastly, you want to have a clear mind. You want to actually be able to think clearly. Because for most people, just brushing their teeth gives them 100 negative thoughts. They aren't even present in the moment. When someone's talking to them, they could be daydreaming. You don't want to be one of these guys. You are pretty much living the free trial of life. You aren't experiencing the entire world for what it is. Okay, so I've been mumbling about this a lot. How do you actually accomplish this? If you are someone, which you probably are unless you actively meditate or who knows what, but your mind is probably a mess, and that's just the truth of it. So, like I said, meditate. Meditating every day, maybe 30 minutes every day, longer, just as much as you need. If you're just starting out, you want to be meditating as much as you can because you want to reset your mind. Every time you meditate, it's going to get better and better. There's different types of meditation. Yoga Nidra, there's just a crisscross applesauce, just sitting down. There's a type of meditation I like to do where I just focus on one object and try to bring my mind into one place, just focusing completely on one thing, which which is usually some type of fruit. Maybe I'll just sit down for 30 minutes. I just want to be thinking about a red apple. I don't want any other thoughts except that. I like this sort of approach because then when you're in the real world, you can replace that red apple into something that's actual. Like you're brushing your teeth, okay, you're just brushing your teeth. You're eating, you're just eating. You're talking to your family, that means you're talking to your family. You aren't anywhere else. But meditation can be anything. I mean, I think all that meditation really is just focusing on something, being aware of your thoughts. What you can start doing when you're just starting meditation is just start labeling your thoughts as something that's actually useful or not. Okay, just the sun going on and on in your head, that's not useful, that's garbage. Maybe something actually important like your brother's birthday. Okay, that's a good thought. And just do that, and just being aware of your thoughts, you're already progressing. Meditation can be anything, just walking outside and paying attention to how your feet hit the ground, the smell of the air, how the trees look. That's in a way a form of meditation. I won't linger on this for too long, so do your own research on it. And that's pretty much all I wanted to say. Balance is important, but this specific idea of balance that's been brought to light lately is not a good mindset to have. Bye, have a great day.